Most human beings have an almost infinite capacity for taking things for granted. We take the little things in life for granted, such as clean water, food to eat, and having shoes to wear. It's part of our everyday life, and it's never been a worry. But some people aren't as fortunate as we are. The sources I used for my presentation are Sid Severa, Souls for Souls, Tom's Shoes, Neglect Diseases, YouTube, Goodreads, and Tom's Shoes again. My name is Jenn Saxby, and today I will be telling you about the many children around the world who have to grow up without shoes. I will be speaking to you from a perspective similar to yours, a person who has the funds and resources to help others who are less fortunate. Because we are so fortunate, we are capable of doing just that. Over 300 million children worldwide are without shoes. The number of barefoot orphan children in sub-Saharan Africa alone is estimated to be above 20 million. A leading cause of disease in developing countries is soil-transmitted diseases. 400 million children are infected or at risk of being infected with soil-transmitted illness. Infection with soil-transmitted illness contributes to anemia, vitamin A deficiency, malnutrition, and impaired growth, delayed development, and intestinal blockages. Worldwide, more than 700 million people are at risk of infection from schistosomiasis, which is another type of worm. More than 207 million people are already infected. In sub-Saharan Africa, more than 200,000 deaths per year are due to schistosomiasis. Schistosomiasis is considered second only to malaria as the most devastating parasitic disease in tropical countries. Soil-transmitted illness are mainly found in areas with warm and moist climates where sanitation and hygiene are poor. This is roughly where it's distributed throughout the world. Schistosomiasis can be found in 74 tropical countries in Africa, the Caribbean, South America, East Asia, and the Middle East, with 62% of the burden occurring in 10 countries in Africa. And this is roughly where the distribution is. As you can see, most of these countries are considered developing countries, and they have little to no resources to prevent these diseases. But we have the resources to help prevent these diseases for children. Blake Mycoskie created Tom's Shoes in an effort to help these kids. By buying a pair of shoes, you can help a child in need. Tom's Shoes has a one-for-one movement. For every pair of shoes that you buy, a new pair is given to a child in need. Blake Mycoskie explaining the one-for-one movement. I'll show this video.
Blake Mycoskie, I'm giving shoes to children in need.
When I started Tom's, originally I met several children that weren't allowed to go to school because they didn't have shoes. And I thought this was a great injustice. And the volunteers, the nonprofits that were working with these kids, they were going around getting donations of slightly used shoes to give to these children. But I also saw kind of the fact that these shoes are going to wear out, or they're going to grow out of shoes, and how are they going to get their next pair? If they're based on donations, then they're dependent on it. And so I wanted to create a model that would be more sustainable. So that's why we created Tom's as a for-profit business and not a non-profit. So that for every pair of shoes we sell, we can give away a pair to a child in need, one for one. And by continuing to sell shoes, we can sustain the giving and making sure that we're not just giving kids shoes that are whatever the hand-me-downs that are donated, but brand new shoes that have been made specifically for them. And so when I say that we're deliberate in how we give shoes, we're very deliberate in the partners that we pick to help us with that distribution, because they need to be able to sustain that giving every day of the year. I'm Blake Mycoskie, and I am Character Approved.
USA, characters welcome. Blake Mycoskie, I'm giving shoes to children in need.
By buying a pair of Tom's Shoes, that's one less kid that's at risk for diseases and one less child denied an education because shoes are a required part of their uniform. It doesn't happen all at once, but you have to start somewhere, and Tom's Shoes is that place. This solution is feasible because you don't have to mail or send anything in, you don't have to call a toll-free number, and you don't have to give out any of your information. It's simply going to the mall or the Tom's Shoes website and buying a pair of shoes. Not only do you get a pair of shoes, but so does the child who has probably never even had a single pair. Happiness doesn't result from what we get, but from what we give.